How are you all doing tonight? Lovely. Yeah, so this is my second time here, and thank you. Last time I ended up doing 2 different spoken word pieces, and I was like, you know what, this time I'm going to tell a story. So I started writing. Once I got to 1,800 words, I'm like, okay, I'm only 20%. So what needs to be told? I guess I do need to write that one-woman show that everyone keeps telling me to write. So spoken word, it is again. So this is something I've been procrastinating about writing for 4.5 months. Whenever some people would say took drastic measures, but took the measures necessary to heal from my own trauma from childhood. And that has contributed to a whole slew of mental illness issues that I was in very much denial about. So this piece is about that. And I'll keep it short because we only have 10 minutes, and this piece is like 8.5 minutes. So this piece is called Invisible Scars by Alexia Jasmene. Invisible scars, unseen, covering every inch of me, feeling tight from the lack of flexibility of trauma induced by another one's words. Invisible scars, building over time, feeling fresh with every sigh of too much, wondering if this is the end where I am crushed. Invisible scars, not knowing or forgetting they're there, to trick myself out of despair, only to find I'm still very much there, a hole so deep that I can never climb free. These scars are invisible to you, but they are the realest thing to me. Feeling shame, despair, loathing for my existence in every breath, feeling the most unlovable and unable to truly love, I am trapped in this cycle, and I am only now becoming aware. Memories can't be forgotten, but they can be locked away, down in the depths of the darkest cave, but they always resurface. You can't run away. When dreams take you hostage and you can't escape, bleeding into your daydreams, you see a man, the most grimacing face. His beard is wild like the deep woods of the night, dirty and yellow, his teeth grin, unsettling my mind. I snap out of it, only to see his reflection in a dream next week's time. I wake with a sweat, wondering why I'm filled with dread. Another week goes by, filled with unawareness of my scars, until I dream a dream where I can't wake myself, even by alarm. I must track a depraved serial killer as my 9-year-old self. I found it easy enough, but was chased for lack of stealth. I ran to my grandparents, where I grabbed 2 knives, a cleaver, and butcher's tools. Maybe these would suffice. I hid in the bathroom, door locked, and inside the tub, he taunts, "Here, faggot, faggot, faggot," as I hold my breath ready to launch. Silence. Then he bursts through the door. I launch in slow motion, digging my cleaver in his shoulder, and I stab, and I stab, and I stab until he moves no more. My grandfather returns baffled, so I show him what I had to do. But there is no body to be found, just a pool of blood, only a trail from bathroom to basement where there is a sound. My grandfather grabs a gun, I a knife. The lights are dead, but we descend in spite. He appears behind my grandfather, rising like the boogeyman himself. He's massive inside, the mad mountain man himself. He knocks my grandfather out cold, then I pick up the gun. He says, "You're too chicken shit to pull that trigger, fag," as I pull that trigger, shooting him in the face, then unloading the gun and cutting off his head. I wake, sobbing, sweating, quaking like the dead, having the broken memories and feelings of that day That day, a man whom I had to trust unloaded his lifetime of strife upon a small girl who was already afraid and hiding. The memories are broken, but the feelings remain. The body keeps the score, and I had a reckoning to pay. I played it down like it wasn't so bad. PTSD from only verbal abuse. Well, it can't be that hard. But I failed to own how severe it really was that day that man stole my sense of self. Since then, I felt shattered, broken, not enough. But it was my fault for being a freak, that I can't stand to be myself. So I hid. I hid myself from myself, hid myself from the world, hid myself from the hurt. But ultimately, it didn't work. I know now that I was always aware that I was a girl at 4, but felt it not safe to tell a soul in that place where I was, hearing hate spewed casually over breakfast and hugs. Not necessarily my family, though some was still there, but the folks in the town made me feel the first inklings of despair. Eventually I felt I should tell my mom. My brother and sister were on the way, but then the mountain man hurt me in the worst kind of way. After that, I was numb at a funeral, only crying when I couldn't cry for my departed aunt. Then everything was fear for another 20 years, just trying to survive. These memories and timelines came in pieces over time as I faced my demons with love for protecting me from more harm. Healing isn't sequential. In fact, it doesn't make rational sense. That's because I was threatened and lived in my emotional mind always on the defense. I ran for myself, made myself busy beyond compare, even ran to China, where a brush with death momentarily broke the despair. Eventually, I continued to hide, fell in love with a girl, still hiding and surviving until things broke beyond repair. It almost took my life. But instead, a friend listened and talked. And I was able to confront who I really was. I am a woman who happens to be trans. I tell all except my girlfriend, afraid of her fate. It was unfair to her and self-fulfilling in the end. But I chose to live, chose to be myself, transitioned in China because that's where there was the most help. That poverty kept me there, another theme in my life. But I grew into a woman, though I couldn't see it in my own eyes. I still saw the boy that was, feeling pains of pain at my own reflection, where the pain could last days, weeks, months. Not home in my body still as I write this for you. I am comfortably renting, doing the best I can do, using serotonin in a therapeutic way, facing my trauma in the most loving way. I was able to start the process of healing and recalibrating my organism that has lived defensively for over 20 years. Ceremony with the teacher plant allowed me to let go of all the baggage I'd held on to. Being the worst emotional hoarder I know. Now I'm here before you with a new foundation and sense of self, earned and built through pain and tears and meeting myself where I am. I hope these words speak to you, to know it's okay, to face yourself with love and that you're worth it every day. Some days are harder. The scar is still aching, and change is on the way. But my invisible scars don't have to be invisible. Neither do yours. Thank you.